What would René Girard say about today?
René Girard would continue to press the human race, and especially, I suppose you would say, the Western culture to take seriously the need to find ways of living well together. By that I mean to find ways out of conflict that are not destructive. And he would say the choice really facing everybody, both in small individual or small community or national problems, is to find ways of forgiveness and love. To use old religious language, very seriously, about the alternative to that being self-destruction, mutual destruction.
What do those words mean today?
Which words?
Forgiveness and love.
Forgiveness, well, love of course is a very compromised word, but it's love as wishing and working for the well-being of the other. It's as much an act of the will. In many ways it needs to be separated from romantic notions of love, which have their place and part to play in human life, but we need the other kind of love as well. Forgiveness, as a very good friend of mine and mentor put it, forgiveness is earthing the damage. If you take the idea of the earth wire in a system protecting a house or electrical system, it's there to earth the damage that might be caused. It's like the lightning rod, effect, which earths the power of the lightning, or is intended to, without damaging anybody or anything. So forgiveness again, because so often it's attached to feelings. I'll never forgive, I can't forgive. Now there are obviously difficulty, the injured party finds the difficulty, but then sometimes their problems increase, or the damage seems to increase in them. They haven't been able to let it go creatively. So forgiveness helps to take away the damage, but also it creates a new possibility of conversation and resolution, and even reconciliation. And reconciliation itself, since we are talking here in Corrymeela, is a process, not a final event. It's a constant need to work for reconciliation through all life's difficulties, communal difficulties and personal relationships, as well as on the grand scale of things internationally.
Is society progressing?
Well, in some ways, society is progressing because we've at least learned that it's not right to make victims. For Girard, the crucial moment in history is in the story of the Passion of Jesus Christ, the innocent victim who didn't sacrifice anybody but gave himself to expose our sacrificial ways of dealing with conflict otherwise, and had done for thousands of years, goodness knows how many thousands of years before. And so in a sense the moral argument is one about victims, that we shouldn't be making victims, but finding how to stop doing it, because we reach for the easiest answer, not the harder one of understanding and listening to the other and accepting the other's story when you get down to a more personal level, between peoples or between groups, to listen to the other story in a free sense, that we don't criticize their story, but that allows us to tell our story and how we respond.
So in which ways is society going backwards?
Society seems to be going backwards in there's an irrationality entering things, that it doesn't seem to matter what is true. And the immediate days we're getting talk about fake news and alternative facts. And also people seem to have lost a sense of the importance of language, of using language properly and describing things properly. And people say, oh, it'll do. But if it ends up with people not understanding each other, or damage being done because something was so badly misunderstood that it brought about bad outcomes. That's happened sometimes in the medical field, that people hadn't done enough English language study, and that's not about foreigners. It's about people for their own language, that they don't make these important distinctions that you need to make, say, in the medical field. And there have been some examples of that in past years.
If you woke up tomorrow and you were emperor of the world, what would be the first thing you would do?
Well, I would like to dissolve the empire.
But suppose you're a benevolent dictator and you believe that your dictatorship is divinely ordained. You believe that you have the power to change the world for good. What's the one thing you do to start?
I submit myself to the madhouse because I don't think that's real. And we've learned enough about empires, if we know anything about the history of the world, that even the most benign person given that kind of power will be corrupted. And instead of it being a shared life, being a shared experience, and finding ways that people share in their own lives and the solutions for their fellow men and women. So I would work to try and find something that improves democracy, because democracy as we have it is a very defective tool, even though it's the best to hand for running a society. Because we need to create greater community, that people will use the democracy for the good of the other. Then we might get something approaching democracy. And that's my own personal sort of point I've made from time down the years in my own life, where it comes to election time, saying, here we are at the election time, but have you been talking to your public representative in between times and saying what's on your mind and what you don't agree with, or what you would like to see happen? And the answer by and large is no, unless they've gone to see them about something that they want for themselves and not for the good of society.
Thank you.